Yeah. In the next session, I'll discuss that. Okay. Let me just first cover up the model building. In the next session, there is nothing but extra CRUD and everything. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, so there is a user table that will be there in the database. Okay, so simple purpose is to store the details of the user, right? When the login and sign up will happen. Okay, so store the details of the user. Okay, then what will happen is that when user will log in, it will be checked in the sorry, it will be checked in the database. Okay, then if a new user comes in, entry will be made in the database. Okay, so this is the purpose of a user table. Okay, so and what are the properties of the user table that it is going to follow? Okay, so first is we like in the DBMS. I said that in the last session also you'll have to have basic understanding of DBMS. Okay, so every table needs to have a primary key. Okay, every table needs to have a primary key. Okay, so first the thing will be ID. Okay, that will be a primary key. Okay, primary key. Okay, then there will be a username. Okay, that will be a string. Okay, and username you can keep it unique. Okay, right now we are not having email ID. You can have email ID also. It is up to you. I'm just giving you an idea how to build, how to connect, and then you can create your own. Okay, I'll just give you some ideas on yours also. Password is a string. Okay, and like two people can have same password but will not disclose it. Okay, so there is no property of kind of unique things that we need to do. Okay, and one thing that I'm gonna add here is a role attribute. Okay, role attribute. Okay, and okay, let's not keep it as role attribute. Let's keep it as what do you call it? Yeah, is admin. Okay, and there will be 0 for non-admin users and 1 for admin. Okay, so this is the type of structure that I'm going to follow right now. Okay, so you can have different types of tables. You can have a separate role table. Okay, you can have a separate role table if you want. Okay, and you can do a role management, and then if you want, then you can do that things. Okay, I'm just keeping it simple. Okay, so that you guys also think about the things that you can do. Okay, so the alternative, or what you can do is, I'm just making you understand that how you can do this. Other than that, like you will need to do the brainstorming and you will need to do the like the things. Okay, so I'm not gonna code this, but I'm gonna making you understand this. Okay, so this approach, okay, that is a role table. Okay, so I will not do this as admin. Okay, there will be a role table separately which will have ID. Okay, role name. Okay, and description. Okay, these things will be there. Okay, and what you can do is that you can connect these tables. Okay, so you can connect user table and you can connect role table. Okay, so you have a ID, and here is the ID is also there. So maybe you can have a foreign key. Okay, so I'm just doing this. Okay, or you can do this. Okay, so like either you, yeah, role is a different table that you can create. Okay, if you don't want to do this is admin part. Okay, you can create a new role table that will have a ID. Okay, that will be a primary key, role name like user. Okay, and admin like that. Okay, and description will be normal user, super user. Okay, normal user, super user, like this. Okay, and then you can connect these tables by putting a foreign key here. Role ID is this. Okay, that is a foreign key. Okay, from role table. Okay, so both the things you can do. Okay, so you can do this. Okay, either you can Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so yeah, so either you can create an isadmin column in the user table. Okay, otherwise you can create a relationship in this. Okay, so there are two alternatives that you can use. Okay, maybe you would want to explore the like the role table. Okay, but I'm just gonna do this isadmin thing. Okay, so that it is easy. Okay, so and easy to understand. Okay, so initially I just want to make you like comfortable with the things. Okay, that's why I'm using some easy approaches, and then you can maybe explore yourself that how to connect. Like it is easy. Okay, and we will explore once. Okay, we will explore that part also, that how to connect two databases, but we will not connect these two models. Okay, we will connect other two models that we'll make. Okay, so these are the two things that maybe you would want to see. Okay, so this is a user table and role table. So let's just focus on the user right now. Okay, so we discuss this. Okay, how the user table is there. Now I'll have to do some things. So just give me a second. Okay, I came to. Okay, I will install the Flask SQL Alchemy for me. Okay, and then I will follow the steps. Okay, so steps are importing, configuration, initialization, integration, and usage. Okay, so installing is also you can. Okay, so downloading is almost done. Okay, then we can import. Let's just wait. Yeah, it is done. Okay, so okay, okay, so now let's import. Okay, so we are importing from from Flask SQL Alchemy, import SQL Alchemy. Okay, so this is the thing that we imported to initialize and integrate and everything. This is the library that I'm importing from Flask SQL Alchemy. Okay, now things. Okay, and then how to import it are different things. Okay, so let's see. I don't think so. It is going to. I did. Yeah, requirement already satisfied. Yeah, you can do this also. Okay, if you want. Yeah, if you want, you can do this. But the quick commands that like usually we use is this. Okay, so I imported this from SQL Alchemy, Flask SQL Alchemy, import SQL Alchemy. Now I'm gonna configuration. I'm gonna do some configuration. Okay, so app dot config. So like the SQL Alchemy means one configuration, that is the database URI. You will have to give a database URI stating that this is the name of my application, this is the type of the database I'm going to use. Okay, so one configuration that SQL Alchemy needs is SQL Alchemy database URI. Okay, so I'll just quickly SQL Alchemy database URI, and that is SQL database that I'm going to use, and the name will be test.db. So I'm not going to create test.db. This is bootcamp. Okay, so this is the thing that is needed. This is the configuration. Okay, so what we did, imported. Okay, then we first we installed, then we imported, then we did some configuration. Okay, now we are going to do some initialization. Okay, so we did the configuration part. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize the database. Okay, so I have configuration is done. Now initializing the database, db is equal to okay SQL Alchemy, the library that we did, and then initializing this like this. Okay, so we initialize this. Yeah, db is a variable, and we initialize. Just like we initialize the Flask application, we did the initialization of the database SQL Alchemy database, so that we can use it. Okay, we initialize it. Okay, now okay, so this was the yeah no, you can use whatever you want. Okay, so this is just to keep things simple. This was the configuration. This was initialization. Okay, okay, now the integration part will come. Okay, so integration will be db dot init app. Okay, so what we did is that db.init app. Okay, it is a method. We integrated it with the application that we created here. You see, we pass the app here. Okay, that means that I'm integrating the things. That. Okay, so that is the case. Okay, so I did the integration with the application. Okay, and now it is done. The things are done. Okay, so initialization, integration, everything is done. Now what we need to do is we need to make a model and create a model in the database. Okay, 920. It will just push the whole context to the application. Okay, so it's like it's just understand everything. Okay, so it's like pushing the context helps. So whenever some operations need or some things need application context to be pushed, that means that we are manually pushing the context so that it understands everything, and then we can do the operations seamlessly. Okay, so that is the purpose. Okay, yeah. So URI is the unique resource identifier. Okay, mostly. Yeah. So it is uniform resource identifier. Sorry. Yeah. So uniform resource identifier is URI. Okay. So let me just share you. Let's just see this image. Okay, just to understand. Okay, so URI is uniform resource identifier is a sequence of characters that identifies a local or physical resource. Okay, usually but not always connected to an internet. Okay, so URI used to distinguish one resource from another. Okay, so okay, just a second. What happened? Yeah. Okay, so it stands for Uniform Resource Identifier, technical term, blah blah blah. Okay, and URI is used to distinguish one resource from another. Okay, so what we did was that we need to access the database. Okay, from our application. Okay, so what we will do is that we will give a URI. Okay, that is an identifier for the application that this is the this is the URL. You will have to follow this. Okay, and you will have to access this database. Okay, so like URI also contains URL and URN. You can see here. Okay, so here you can see some things. Okay, prefixes there, keyword protocol, then suffix, location, resource. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I hope that is clear now. Now let's come here. Yeah. Okay, so now we are gonna connect the database. Okay, so what we're gonna do is that we are going to you know create a model, okay, of a user, and then we are gonna connect it to the application. Okay, so it is actually connected only. Okay, then we can do read operations and write operations. But yeah, so what, like the term that is introduced here is ORM. It is object relational mapping. Okay, so that means that mapping relational database to the Python classes. Okay, classes in which stands will have objects. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so what will happen is that let's say I'm creating a user. So this is a class. Okay, class of a user I'm creating. Okay, so this is replicating. This is replicating that this is a db.model. Okay, that's why I initialize the db. That is a database. Okay, it says that it is a database. Okay, and it is a model of the database, and there is a user table. Okay, so user table represents class user. Okay, then there is a thing called table name. Okay, so we can keep it table name is users. Okay, then each and every variable we are creating in the class. Okay, so we all understand basic oops, right? We all understand basic oops, and we all understand how the things are gonna, like, how the things are that we have classes and set that we have objects of the classes. Okay, and the classes will have this attributes. Okay, so that is the thing that we all know. Okay, so now I'm gonna create a class. Yeah, yeah. Argument of this, sorry. So I'm defining the class. Okay, so I'm defining the class. Okay, and I am like defining the inside the class. I'm defining that it is a model of this SQL Alchemy database. It is one model. Okay, I need to define how this application is going to understand. If I will not give this, if I will pass just like this, okay, then how the application is going to understand that I'm creating a database. It will just take it as this is a Python file, right? So it will just take it as a simple class being made. Exactly. Okay, so I want to, yeah. So this is just to integrate into the database. Okay, so DB dot model. And now I am creating the class. Yeah, 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 yeah. Y- Line number 16. Yeah, the same DB. Okay, that we integrated with the application. I'm not like it, I will not use the term integrating exactly because it is not integrating. It is just defining that it is a database model. Okay. Otherwise, it will just be taken as a simple class, right? Yeah, DB dot model. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to define some attributes. So this will be, each will be the columns inside the user table. Okay, so each attribute will be columns inside the user table. So I'll say db.column. Okay, then I will have to define some properties. So it will be an integer and it will be a primary key. Okay, then I'll say username. Okay, that will be db.column, db.string. Okay, then it will be a unique. Okay, so I said that like something should be unique. Okay, there should be a unique identifier or email or username. Okay, because what will happen is, you like, there is a primary key ID, but there should be a unique identifier for each user, right? So that's why we keep the username unique. Okay, okay, so that is the case. Okay, and then like I'm going to have a password. Okay, and nullable is equal to false means that this entry can't be null. Okay, this entry can't be empty. Okay, then password is there, that is a db.string, and it is also nullable is equal to false. Okay, and now I'm going to keep is admin property, that will be a boolean value. I'm not going to keep it boolean value, I'm going to keep it integer. Okay, and the default will be 0. Okay, okay, so let's keep it boolean only. Why to keep make this complicated for you guys? False. Okay, so this is a boolean value. Okay, that this line, what this means is that is admin is a boolean property. Okay, so if the user is admin, okay, if the user is admin, then it is true. Okay, then the things will be true, otherwise it will be false. Okay, so uh, uh, So nullable is false means that this username entry can't be empty. Okay, when you are creating an entry, it can't be entry nullable. Okay, and the default means then you can have empty also, but it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense to, yeah. Then like this is admin is a default, so it's like if you will not pass any values specifically, if you will not pass any values specifically, then it will assume that it is a user only. Okay, right? And there is only one admin, right? So like the admin that we will create manually when we create the application, the admin that we are going to create manually when we create the application, that is the only admin, right? So we are going to create the admin, don't worry about it, but it's just to make you understand. Okay, it will accept. Yeah, exactly. No, it will not log in, but it will be saved in the database. Okay, that there is an empty, okay, password is empty. Okay, but it will not log in itself, but it will show that password is empty. But it doesn't also make sense, right? That if the user is going to log in, then how you're going to check the password, right? So these are the things, yeah, these are the things that you'll have to take into the consideration. Okay, now the last thing that you will have to do is you'll have to do db.creator. Okay, so this will create the databases. Okay, so db.create all will happen, and then these things will happen. So let's just run the application once. So let's see what happens if like some error will come also. Let's see. SQLite, no need to download actually, because I have. Okay, so let's see if I have. I don't think so. So like because of this SQL Alchemy libraries, I need to no need to download it separately. See, SQLite is not installed. Okay, you don't need, because you have this SQL Alchemy library that manages everything for you. But I have this SQLite viewer. Okay, so that will help me view the database. Okay, so SQLite is not needed because I have this libraries and I have this extensions SQLite viewer and everything, so that I can like do the things. Okay, so now what happened was, let's see, there is an instance folder. So every time Flask application creates a database inside the instance folder. Okay, okay, so that is the thing that you will have to understand first. Okay, and inside that there is a bootcamp.db. Yeah, this got created because this method was there, right? Okay, it created the database, and what was the name again? Bootcamp.db. You see bootcamp.db, and here is bootcamp.db. Okay, yeah, ID, username, password is that. Okay, you can open DB browser also, but you can open SQLite viewer also. Okay, SQLite viewer is just to open that like database inside the VS Code if you don't want to go to DB browser. Okay, so yeah, it automatically created, as I said, when you execute this method, it will create an instance folder if it doesn't exist. Okay, it will create the database here, as you can see, if it doesn't exist. Okay, if it exists only, then there is no problem. Okay, so let's say I'm running the application again, so it will do nothing. Okay, because instance folder is already there. Okay, and now as you can see, if I wanted to show this, see, if you see here, ID I defined as a column. Here is ID as a column, primary key, you can see the key here. Then I defined username as a column, username is as a column. So this will create a database. Okay, password, so password you see as a column here. Okay, and is admin, there is a boolean variable as a column. Okay, now what we're going to do is, now we are going to build a login system, but before that I'm going to make a method. Okay, so I'm going to execute a method here. Okay, so I'm going to take create auto admin. Okay, this function will be executed every time before I run the application, just to make sure that database has the entry of a admin. Okay, because what we discussed in the previous thing, if you remember, is that what we discussed in the previous thing, if you remember, that is you will have to create an admin entry automatically when you run the application. Okay, there should be a by default value of admin. Okay, there should be a by default value of admin. Okay, so we're going to create that we're going to create that by default entry of admin in the database. Yeah. Okay, so no, I'm writing that method only, create auto admin. That is a method to do that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to do that. Okay, so let's write that method now. Okay, define create auto admin. Okay, what that will do? Okay, so what we'll have to find is that in this user table, I'll have to find one entry which has is admin true. Okay, I'll have to find one entry which has is admin true. If I don't have any entry which has is admin true, that means that there is no admin inside it. Okay, so I will have to find if exists. Okay, so if exists, that means I'm going to query in the user. So this is the syntax of querying in this inside the database. Okay, user dot query. Okay, dot filter by okay, I am filtering by some columns. Okay, so let's just understand this. Okay, so like this is really easy, right? So SQL Alchemy helps us writing querying inside this in like without SQL, without raw SQL. Okay, So it helps us executing the SQL commands. So SQL alchemy is the reason for this. Okay, SQL alchemy is the reason for this. Okay, it helps us like in Python. Okay, it basically helps us executing the SQL command in Python. Okay, so that we can do things with the database. Okay, so that is the thing that you will have to understand. No. If there is a super user, so more than one shouldn't exist. Okay, there is only one admin. Okay, there is only one admin that we are gonna create here. Okay, other than that, no admin is going to create. If it exists only, so that's why I'm doing this. Okay, if it exists, okay, then it is good. Okay, so I'm gonna say that I'm gonna filter by the database with the column is admin. Okay, and I'm gonna say if there is any entry exists. Okay, with the is admin functionality, is admin attribute true. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm querying in the user database. Okay, I want you to understand this properly. Okay, because this is the syntax that we're going to use in the whole system. Okay, this is the crux. Okay, you just have to understand these queries and you're done. Okay, so I'm explaining that. Okay, so user, I'm querying in the user. Okay, user dot query dot filter by. Okay, and is admin is equal to true. Okay, and then dot first. Okay, so I'm saying that filter it by is admin dot true, is admin true. Give me the first entry that you get. Okay, so dot first means I'm getting the first entry that I'm gonna find. Okay, and there is going to be only one entry because I'm gonna create one entry and then I'm not gonna pass is admin true anywhere. Okay, anywhere in the application. Okay, if it doesn't exist, if that entry doesn't exist, then I'm gonna create it right now right here. Otherwise, okay, I'm just gonna like basically I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, if the entry already exists like this, okay, if there is already one admin, then it will not create any admin. Okay, so that is the thing that is important. Okay, so yeah, so now let's move forward. Okay, so now let's just do this. Okay, so I'm saying that if it exists. Okay, if it exists. Okay, if doesn't exist. So if not, if exists. Okay, that means that this if exist is false. Okay, that it is not able to find the entry. So what I will do is I'm going to create it. Okay, I'm going to create it. So this is how you read and this is how you filter. Okay, we are going to do it again. We are going to do it when I will show you the dashboard. I'm going to do it again. This is just to create a by default function. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm by this command. Okay, the command that is there right now. Okay, that you are reading here. Okay, user.query.filter by. We are doing the reading. Okay, we are doing the reading basically. Okay, and we are doing the reading and I'm filtering in the database, I'm querying in the database. Okay, and I'm saying that find me, okay, the user which has this is admin true and give me the first entry because anyways there is only going to be one entry. Okay, so that is the thing that is there. Okay, and now I want you to understand the creating part. This is how we query. Okay, there are many ways to query more also. Okay, we will explore that once we reach that point. Okay, this is just to create a function. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, so yeah, now if it doesn't exist then I'm going to create one. Okay, so how am I going to create one? So let's just understand one simple thing that every entry in the database will be an object of class user. Okay, that is clear. Okay, every database is a class. Okay, every table is a class. Okay, every table is a class, user table, or every table is a class. Okay, and every entry in that table is an object of this user class. Okay, it is an object of this user class. Okay, so that is the thing that you need to understand first. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Okay, so in order to find, okay, so in order to find one entry, okay, in order to create one entry, okay, so in order to create one entry I'll have to create one object of this user class. Okay, I hope I'm clear. In order to create, okay, because every table is a class. Okay, every table is a class and every entry in the table, okay, every entry in the table is an object of that class. Okay, it's an object of that class. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object of this class. Okay, and I'm going to add it to the database. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so if not, I'm going to create an entry of this user class and I'm going to add it to the database. So how do you do it? You will create an object of this user class. So user class, okay, user class, what are the attributes of everything? So when you are defining a class, you will have to give values to its attributes, right? So I'm taking that I'm creating an object of this class. What will be the values of these? Okay, what will be the values of these variables? So this is, you don't have to worry about this. Okay, because this is what is like primary key. It is primary key. Okay, so it is auto increment and it will be by default done. Okay, so you don't need to worry about this. And then yeah, so it is auto increment is true. Okay, so how do yeah, auto increment is true. Okay, so it will auto increment true means that every time there is one entry. Yeah, there is one if condition here. Just a second. Let me just comment this for now. Okay, so what I'm telling you is that when the entry will be created, okay, when the entry will be created, I'll show you what happens. Okay, so I'll just show you what happens. Otherwise, there's a problem. Okay, so admin is equal to user. Okay, I'm gonna pass some values. So username will be, let's say, admin. Okay, you will have to pass that. You will have to give this object attributes, right, of the class. Okay, that what is the thing that you know. So this is not triple S. This one is yeah. So I'm gonna say password is pass admin. Okay, and then I'm gonna say is underscore admin is equal to true. Okay, so I created one object of user class. Okay, there is one object of user class. Okay, so remember when you are creating an object of some class, you will have to give that object attributes. Okay, so these attributes are the username. So you will have to define that what will be the username, what will be the password, what will be the value of his admin. This ID is auto increment so that it will give a number automatic when the entry will be added. Okay, so if it is the first entry, then it will be given 1. If it is the second entry, then it will be given 2. Okay, that. Okay, so auto increment is just giving the number automatically. I don't need to pass it manually. Okay, so you will see what will happen. Okay, so I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to do is session dot add. Okay, admin. Okay, so I'm going to add the admin. Okay, and then I'm going to commit. So two things you will have to understand is when you are adding in the database, you will have to add it first, and then you will have to commit to the database in order to add it to the database. Okay, then I'll say admin got created. So it's like there is a DB session going on. Okay, so it's like it is a method that we are gonna like keep. Okay, so this is a by default method. There is a by default line. Okay, to add it to the database. So the DB session that is going on right now with the application. Okay, so when you run the application, there is a DB session going on. Okay, so it says that in this DB database dot session, okay, add the admin and then commit it. Okay, when the application is running, the DB session gets created automatically. Okay, so that thing. Okay, and then otherwise there is nothing to happen. Okay, so I'll just print it. Okay, so I'll just print that print admin already exists. Okay, I don't need to return anything. Okay, so this is what this function is going to do. Okay, create auto admin. Let's just run the file, shall we? Okay. So python.py. See, admin got created because there was no entry. So what happened was it tried to find inside this. It tried to find inside this ID is admin is true or not. Okay, table was empty. This value was false. Okay, and this function got executed. This created the object of user class. Okay, then it added it to the database. Okay, added it to the database. Then committed it to the database. Okay, so these are the things that happen. Yeah, it should be added to the user table. Okay, so if I'll refresh, yeah, I was just waiting for you. Okay, so you can see here one. Okay, that means that this is an admin. Okay, then if I will just run the file again, if you see, if I will just run the file again, okay, I'll just run the file again. Admin already exists. See, okay, so now when the search will happen, it will say that try to find the one entry that has is admin true. Okay, it exists already. Then it will say admin already exists. Otherwise, it will create. Okay, so now admin is done. Okay, now there is a by default entry of admin and you don't need to worry about it. Okay, and now what we'll have to do is we'll have to do no, there is only one super user, one admin. Okay, remember it is said only, it is said in the it is being told in the yeah. Okay, yeah, you can add second admin. Okay, so what you can do is that you can add second admin, so but you will have to just pass it when you are creating the admin. Okay, or you will have to create it here also. You can create admin 1, admin 2 here if you want. Okay, but there will be some things. Okay, there will be some things modified. Okay, it will not be the same. The function will not be the same, and everything will not be the same. But yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is the case now. Okay, and now you did everything same like me. You proposed the context. You db.create all also you did, and db.create all should be done after this. Yeah, after this. Let's see after I discuss everything. Okay. So what I'm going to do here today is that I collected the database, I created the model. Now I'm going to explain you the simple login system, and then I'm going to like explain you the filtering methods. Okay. So today's target is that. Okay. And in the next session, I'm going to explain more CRUD and more database tables and more things. Okay. So like till session 3, you should be able to build a simple login system, login and sign up system. Okay. Login, sign up, and dashboard system. You will be able to make. So you will see. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, so yeah, now let's create a simple login system. Okay, so now what will happen is that here when we build a login route, okay, I'm taking the username and password, right? And I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna do the same. Okay, so I'm gonna say if exist. Okay, so I'm gonna check that if this user already exists. Okay, I'll say user, okay, dot query dot filter by. Okay, I'm gonna filter by the username because username is the only thing that is unique. Okay, so I'm gonna find the username. Okay, and I'm gonna find the first entry because it is unique. Okay, because it is unique, then there is only one entry. Okay, okay, it is simple. Okay, because it is only one entry. Okay, it is only one entry. Okay, because we defined that it should be unique. Okay, there is only one entry, so that we can do this first because there is only one entry. So the first thing that is going to find is the only thing that exists in the database. Okay, so we did this. Okay, now what we're going to do is that we are going to check. Okay, so if this if exist is already true, if it is exist is already true, that means that this username that I passed here exists. Okay, username that I passed here exists. Okay, then I'm going to do is I'm going to check the password. Okay, so if it exists already, then I'm going to check the password. Okay, and then I'm going to say that if the if the password is correct, then I'm going to redirect it to the dashboard. Otherwise I'm going to stop there. Okay, I'm going to stop the user there saying that username like password is incorrect, and you will need to put the correct password. Okay, so that is the thing that you will need to understand. Okay, so now let's just do that. Okay, so I'm going to check. Okay, so let's just change the name. Okay, user underscore exists and user underscore exists. Okay, so if user exists already, okay, then I'm going to say that if the password matches. So if user underscore exists in the database, okay, this is in the database. Okay, and I'm going to say if user underscore exists password, the password of the user exists, this existing user that I found here, right? The password of that user is equal to the password that is passed by the form. Okay, so that is passed by the form. Okay, so then I'm going to say print password is correct. Okay, and I'm not going to do this. Okay, and I'm going to just say the password is correct. Then I'm going to just return the template here existing. Okay, so otherwise we'll print password is incorrect. Okay, and then we will again go to login. Okay, then I'm going to again go to login and I'm going to say error is equal to password is incorrect. Okay, so what I did, what I exactly did, user exists. Okay, I checked that if the username is passed, which is passed here in the form, which is passed to me, if the username passed to me, okay, already exists in the database. If it already exists in the database, if it already exists, then I'm gonna create I'm gonna check that if the password is correct or not. Okay, so I'm gonna check that if password is correct or not. Okay, and then if the password is correct, then I'm gonna show the dashboard, okay, with the username just as like that. And if not, then I'm gonna return to the login page again. Okay, okay, and we'll see the sign up also. Okay, so like I will create one by one. So right now let's just do these things. Okay, okay, so the only user is admin, so I'll have to create one. Okay, so let's just do the sign up and then go to the demo. Okay, so now if the user doesn't exist, okay, if not, okay, so matlab else. Okay, else I'm gonna say print user doesn't exist. Okay, and I'm gonna return render template. I'm gonna say go to sign up. Okay, go to sign up.html, and there is the user doesn't exist. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a route because okay, so I don't need to just render the template. Exactly, but what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna return just the render the template. Okay, because I need to redirect it to that route. Okay, because user is right now at login. Okay, so when the user is at login, I'm sending the HTML page. I'm sending the HTML page on get request. Okay, and I'm taking the data on post request. Okay, Now there should be another route. Okay, there should be another route called sign up. Okay, method should be get and post. Okay, and then I'm going to define the sign up method here, and I'm going to say, oh sorry, uh, sign up method here. Okay, and I'm going to say that if request.method is get, request.method is get, then I'm going to return render template signup.html here. Okay, so that I can handle the post request also. Okay, if I will just render the template here signup.html. Okay, then what I will have to do is, just a second, this got change this password, else user yeah, okay. So I can handle get and post request both in this route. Okay, so that user comes into the sign up route, gets the HTML page, then he or she will send the data. I'm going to take the data. If I will just do a render template here, then I will have to just handle post request here at sign up. Okay, so it's like, it's not a standard practice to do. Okay, we handle like, if the functions is different, okay, login and sign up, then we create proper routes with proper method handling. Okay, so that it like like the things are proper. Okay, model. Okay, so I'm going to do this now. Okay, so till here we are going to do a demo, and then we're going to create a user if it doesn't exist, and then we are going to just do some read operations and then done. Okay, so I'm going to do what is, I'm going to return. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to return, so I'm going to import one thing called redirect. Okay, redirect. Okay, so right now what is happening is that the user is at this login. Okay, now if user doesn't exist, then I'll say return redirect. Okay, redirect to, sorry, redirect. Okay, redirect to, what is happening, sorry, yeah, redirect to sign up. Okay, what this will do is this will redirect the user to this sign up page. Here user will come, get request will be there. Okay, and then the template will be sent, sign up.html. Okay, so let's just quickly create sign up.html. It will be same as login. It will have a username, it will have a password. Okay, and this will be a sign up page. And let's not discuss the method and action right now. Okay, let's just receive this form first. Okay, okay. Now I'm gonna run the application. Admin already exists. You already know what that means. Follow. Okay, so I'm on the landing page. Okay, now I'm gonna log in. So I'm gonna say that I'm a Darshan. Okay, and there is some password 12345. Okay, and I'm gonna submit it. Okay, let's see what happens. I submitted, sign up came. Okay, why? Because Darshan 12345 that I entered, it tried to check into the database. It doesn't exist. Okay, this line got executed. Okay, if exist user exist is equal to this, this is false. This doesn't exist. Okay, that's why I printed this printed user doesn't exist. Then redirected to slash sign up. You can see here. You can see here there is a slash sign up get request. So this application itself redirected the user to the another route. Okay, if you can see here the route name is also changed. Okay, then sign up route came, get request was there, so it returned the HTML template. Now you enter the things again, 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to add it to the database now. Till here, anyone has any problem? Only 4 people are there, but yeah. Anyone has any problem? Sure, I can move forward. Other three, give some reactions, otherwise I'll not be able to understand. And then in the feedback form, you can't give that I was not able to understand, so I was going too fast, I was making it too complex. I'm just trying to stick to the basics, okay? If I wanted, this is session 3. If I wanted like other, like, some mentors, I can just do that, okay? I can just make the application, not understanding the basics, and I can just make the application, but that is not necessary. Necessary is you understand the structure. Okay, so that is important. That's why I'm not building a full-fledged application in front of you. Otherwise, I would have just built the models, connected everything, and done everything. Okay, but it's not how it works. Okay, so return template, I'm going to do a sign up. Then, if it is a post request, okay, if it is a post request, so there are some things that I will have to, define. Okay, so when the user is signing up, okay, you tell me that you agree to this or not. When the user is signing up, you will need. Okay, so some things are there. Okay, so when the user is signing up, okay, so when the user is signing up, you will have to check. Okay, so what is the attribute that I used here? Here, if you see, username should be unique. Okay, so if some user comes, okay, if some user comes and enters a username, and I'm trying to add it to the database, so I will have to check, okay, that this username exists or not, right? this username already exists or not. If it exists, then I will have to tell the user that use another username. Okay, and otherwise I will just add it to the database. Okay, I hope that is clear. When the user is being created, what I will have to do is I will have to check if that username already exists or not. Okay, if that username doesn't exist, okay, then what I will have to do is I will have to create the user. Okay, and if the username already exists, then I will have to tell the user that this username already exists. Please go to the another please use another username. Okay, so you will need to understand this properly. Okay, so now I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to fetch the username from the request. So this is same. Okay, I'm not going to repeat it again and again. Request dot form dot get. Okay, I'm going to get the username. Okay, and then I'm going to get the password. Okay, then I'm going to I'm not going to print the password. I'm just going to check. Okay, so I'm going to just going to check that if user underscore access is equal to, so I'm going to say that user dot query dot filter by. Okay, I'm going to do user dot query dot filter by user exists. User exists, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's a variable. Yeah, so I'm going to filter by the username. Okay, so I'm going to say that the table in the user, so see the query, how it works is that user dot query dot filter by query in the user table by this attribute. So this is the table attribute. Okay, this is the table attribute in the table. Okay, so I'm saying that attribute in the table, okay, should be equal to the form username. Okay, dot first. Okay, because anyways the username is unique, so it will be dot first only. Okay, it is the only entry that exists here. Okay, then I'm going to say that if user already exists, okay, then I'm going to print user already exists, and then I'm not going to do this. Okay, AI is dumb. Okay, that's why I can take a job. Okay, if user already exists, okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect it to again sign up. Okay, so I'm going to again redirect the user to the sign up. Okay, stating that I'm going to again redirect it to the sign up, stating that user already exists. Okay, please use a different username. Please use a different username. Okay, now else. Okay, else I'm going to create a new user and add it to the database. So I'm going to create a new user. Okay, I'm going to say that user. Okay, username attribute in the table will be form username. Okay, and the password in the table will be form password. Okay, then I'm going to do db.session.add new user. Then I'm going to do db.session.commit. Okay, and then I'm going to say print user created successfully, and then you can log in again. Okay, so you can just directly log in. If user is created successfully, then you can directly log in. Okay, so this is the thing that you can. Okay, simple. Okay, what we did here, we exactly did here. Okay, it is nothing. Okay, the all cycle works like this. Okay, you create a route, get request, you return some template, post request, you get some data, process some data, and you redirect to another route. Okay, so login and sign up is done. Okay, so let's experiment this. Okay, so I'm gonna just refresh. The application is not running. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna refresh this. I'm on sign up right now. Okay, so let's just do the cycle again. I'm on the landing page, refreshed. I'm trying to log in with the name Darsh. Okay, Darsh, and password is 12345. Password is 12345. I'm gonna submit. It will say user doesn't exist. Okay, user doesn't exist. Then I went to this. I created the user named Darsh. Okay, I'm saying that password will be 12345. Okay, I'm gonna submit. Okay, so it's submitted, but it didn't. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah. So one thing you didn't notice. Okay, one thing you didn't notice here. Get request is there. Here in the post request, this is going to happen. Okay, but in the sign up, I didn't define anything. Okay, that what will be the method. So you'll have to define. Okay, so in forms, you'll have to define that what will be the method. Okay, that will be a post method. Okay, this we discussed in the last session also. Okay, that the method is equal to post. Okay, the post method is there, and action means that to what route. Okay, you want to send this form where. Okay, so that is basically that. Okay, you want to send this form where. Okay, where do you want to send this form? Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, yeah, method is required. Otherwise it will send a get request and see the things are opened here. So if it is a get request, it's not a secure request. Everything will be opened in the URL. Okay, so you have to define that method is equal to post. Okay, action is equal to I want to send it to the slash sign up route. Okay, because the user the handling is happening at sign up route, right? So handling is happening at slash sign up. Okay, so slash sign up handling is happening. Okay, here. So the form data will be sent here. Okay, I'm so sorry I forgot to discuss and I just ran the application. Okay. Yeah. 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 So render template is used when you want to render some template. Okay. So I'm going to say, like, if here, if you see the get request is there, then I'm going to return the signup.html, right? Okay. And if I want to redirect it to the another route, okay, so let's say here login is done, okay, user doesn't exist, okay, then I need to redirect it to sign up. Okay, that sign up is handling that, right? Sign up is handling the form, sign up is handling everything, right? Sign up is handling that, how you get the data and how you process the data. If the get request is there, just send the sign up.html page, right? So user needs to go to slash sign up. Okay, user is at login right now. Redirect is I'm just redirecting to the route, right? So render template is .html we use, okay, because we are rendering some template, okay. But when you want to redirect to a route is here, this one. Yeah. What? Sorry. Hmm. Yeah, because the get request, because I'm redirecting it, user comes to the slash sign up, sees that, this server sees that user is coming in. That means the get request is being sent. The template will be rendered. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, exactly. From 75 it is going to 78. So see, if the login is there, see, user doesn't exist right now. So I'm doing login, it's sent to sign up. Okay. See, sign up, slash sign up. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to do submit. So it went to login. It went to login. Let's see the terminal. First, user didn't exist. Yeah. That is using Flash. Flash. Okay. You don't worry about Flash right now. That's why I'm printing in the terminal. Okay. Flash we will do in the next session, because too many things. I don't want to make you overload over the things. I just want to make you simple login system. I just wanted to make a simple login system, same as this. Give some aesthetics. Think about your models. Okay. So that is the thing that I wanted to do this time. Okay. I just don't want that you will make things complicated for you. There will be a Flash. Okay. So you will show it in the HTML. I will explain that also. Okay. Don't worry about it. So user created successfully. Okay, so user got created successfully. So after user created successfully, what happens? It redirects to login. That, yeah, please login, go and login again. Now you can proceed. Okay, so it did redirect login. It came here in login. It came here in login. Get request is being sent. Login.html got rendered. Now I'm going to do what? I'm going to do the same password and same thing that I did. 1 2 3 4 5 with Darsh, and then I'm going to go to the dashboard. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let's just do it again. I'm logging in. Okay, so this is my username Darsh. This is my password 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to enter. I already exist in the database, so let me show the entry also. Okay, so see, yeah, so Arpit, see, auto increment means that it incremented the entry only by like +1, and then it added the 1 2 3 4 5 is admin is 0, because by default it was 0. Unless I explicitly tell that the entry is 0, okay, 0 or 1, okay, it is going to take by default 0. Okay, so it created, it added in the database, okay, so that I went to the dashboard. Okay, otherwise if, because I just rendered the template, right, it is not redirected to the dashboard, because what I did was to just render the template of the dashboard. I didn't redirect it. Okay, so if I want, I can redirect it also, because I can just do this thing. Okay, so at the rate app.route. Okay, but the problem will be, I will just show the problem. Okay, so app.route slash dashboard. Okay, and then I'm gonna say render template dashboard.html. Okay, and I'm gonna pass dash username. What was the, yeah, dash username is equal to the username. Okay, let's just see the problem that comes. Okay, I hope you understand in between only. So I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna redirect it to the slash dashboard. Okay, okay, now slash dashboard will render this HTML template. Okay, but the problem is that the username variable was here. So when I was rendering, it was able to give the username to the to the template. Understanding? It was able to give the pass the username that was given here in the template. But now this route doesn't have access to that username variable. Understanding, Arpit? Yeah, so we can pass it in the URL. Yeah, we can pass it in the URL. Okay, so what we can do is that we can take this dashboard and we can say to the dashboard that you will accept a username. Okay, this is a variable. Okay, so this variable you can keep it anything. Okay, but you will accept something here. Okay, in a string. Okay, in string format you will accept something here. Okay, and I will call it name. Okay, I'm gonna call it name. You want to call it whatever, and then let's call it username. Okay, username. I'm going to take, so what I'm telling is that dashboard, whenever you redirect someone to the dashboard, I want that what username that person has. Okay, in order to give the dashboard.html the name that it wants. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, in order to give, yeah, so till the point you understood, till the point that why I redirect, why I made this route, because Arpit asked that I don't want to render okay, directly the template, I would like to redirect it to the dashboard. Okay, so it wanted to redirect to the dashboard. We were rendering the dashboard to HTML first. Okay, but when the dashboard was coming in here, okay, now I changed the code. But when the dashboard was coming in here, it was not redirecting to the dashboard route, but it was rendering the dashboard template. That's it. Okay. So what I did right now is I created a new route. Okay. So now when the login will happen, okay, it will redirect to the dashboard. But the problem is that the username that I was passing to the template, now this dashboard doesn't have access to that username. Okay. Now that doesn't have access to the username. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that it doesn't have access. So I am telling that whenever you redirect someone to the dashboard, dashboard will accept a string. Okay, dashboard will accept a string. Okay, you can call it whatever, it is going to accept the string. So whenever someone will redirect, let's say suppose here someone is redirecting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this quotes here. Okay, and I'm going to say dashboard slash, okay, I'm going to pass user name variable inside the dashboard. Okay, so this is what I want to, yeah, it will be visible on the URL also. Okay, and otherwise if you don't want it to visit, like if you don't want it to be visible on the URL, then what you will need to do is then you will need to yeah, I will tell you. Okay, so it was a reverse thing. Okay, I'm so sorry. It is a user call string like this to define. Okay, so there is a string called user. Okay, so that's why it was giving error, because it was seeing user as a type, string as a variable. Okay, so when it was reverse, it was giving error. Okay, user is a variable and string is a type. It should not be like this. It should be type is this and user is this. That's why it was giving error. Okay, so now I'm saying that there is a string passing here. You will have to pass the string. Okay, and if you pass whatever, it will take whatever. Okay, so let's say let's just see the cycle again. I'm logging in. Okay, I'm saying Arpit. Okay, so Arpit is not existing in my database. Okay, so what I'm going to do is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, I'm going to submit. Okay, user doesn't exist. Let's see, user doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, so user doesn't exist. Okay, sorry, it is lagging. Yep. So now I'm going to create Arpit. One, okay, so 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to submit. User has been created successfully. User created successfully. Now Arpit exists in my database. Arpit. Then I'm going to say, yeah, I'll enter just a second. Submit. Hello, Arpit. Welcome to your dashboard. Here you can see Arpit. Okay, and password is not matching. Some random password. I'll submit. It came to login again. Password is incorrect. Okay, and you can do some form validations also. We will discuss. Okay, so in the next session, what we're going to do is, okay, so we are going to discuss in the next session. Yeah. No. It gave error, right? You saw that it gave some error. Then I removed the string and then I ran it again. It gave a lookup error. Okay, that's what I was trying to explain. It gave error. It will not work. Okay, so in the next session we are going to do, yeah. No. User is a variable. See, user is a variable that I'm using here. User. String is a type. Yeah. Type. Okay. Yeah. If you want, you don't declare. Then also it works. Okay? It's up to you. Okay. You just have to, if you want to make sure that every time the type that you want is being passed, then you can do this. Okay. But this is also not kind of maybe safe because the username is visible on the dashboard. We can use session also. Don't worry about it. Okay. So what I was trying to explain here is, yeah. So that was the same. Okay. So in the next session we are going to, yeah. Sorry. Uh, yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah. So we'll have to pass. So someone, yeah. So someone is passing this user. Okay. When someone is redirecting here, so here, see, here my server passed the username. Okay. It is in the route, but my function needs to catch it. So I will have to pass it into the argument. Okay. And then I will use it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So in the next session we are going to do some form validations, basic. Okay. Then I'm going to explain the session. Okay. And then we are going to do more advanced model building and correct.